Yeah, thanks so much. Opening remarks. We have quite a marquee for the keynote speaker this morning, so I'm going to provide you with the opening remarks. The first controversy that I'd like to get beyond, for the past 2.5 years that this has been rattling around my brain, and for the past 7 months once we launched the website, everybody that's come up to me has said, what is this DOYO thing that you've got going on? And so kind of put that one to rest. We actually go by DOYO, as in Do Youngstown. So thank you everybody for being here today. It absolutely means the world to me. It means the world to all the people that have been involved in here. And thanks so much. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. And you won't hear me stop saying thank you for being here. To just put things a little bit in perspective, one of the last times I was on this stage and it gave me the idea that we can do something like this in Youngstown, Ohio, I was involved in giving a talk at TEDx1. And while I was giving a talk at TEDx1, my 3-year-old at home, this is me on the right, lifelong dream, talking at TEDx, and on the left, my 3-year-old son, Mateo, at the time, found it to be so interesting that he took the marker while my wife was watching the feed, and decided to make sure that he decorated himself in his own art. And to even put it in more perspective, there's something about this room and about the events that go on here. Mateo decided on Saturday to take an awkward fall and break his clavicle. So I should be a little bit more sympathetic towards it. He should know that Dad's got a big marketing conference this week. Anyway, long story short, we are very active on social media. This is a digital marketing conference. Our hashtag for the conference, the official hashtag, is #DOYOLive. Make sure that, obviously, we want you participating. We've got a Snapchat geo filter. We've got LinkedIn, not very active today, but Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Please take your pictures, hashtag them with DOYOLive. It's a great way for us to get feedback, engagement, interaction with you throughout the course of today. And it's only going to help us enhance our ability to make this better for you in the future. So one of the things that people really love, that is really a hot topic that gets people really excited, are mission statements. You know, companies all have them and they dust them off and they're like, where'd that thing go? We wrote this down a while ago. But it's really important to me to let you know what our mission is here at DOYOLive. And we're dedicated to it being an ongoing educational resource for sales, marketing, business, design professionals, 365 days a year, through our blog, through webinars, through eventually podcasts, through workshops, and then getting together with an annual conference with some world-class keynote speakers. And in addition to the world-class keynote speakers, bring in some really great breakout sessions. 90% of the people that will be doing breakouts today are from Youngstown, Ohio, which it was by design and by on purpose. I think that we have a tremendously talented group of people that are in this area, and we want to put them on display. We have, the second goal of this is to help stimulate the economy of Youngstown, Ohio. Through growing this conference, we've managed to create a couple part-time jobs, and it's just a start. We've been able to contract work out through doing this to our sign maker. We're going to go to lunch today and bring business down into a restaurant downtown Youngstown. We hired Amanda Lynch from Busy Blogs Plus to be a freelance blogger for this business back in June. A fantastic business blogger. She's actually here conducting a workshop today. And the third thing is we want to be purpose-driven and donate our time, our resources, and our efforts and money back into the community. This year, that cause is the Rich Center for Autism. It's located on campus here at Youngstown State University. It's dedicated towards the treatment of kids with autism and also preparing teachers to teach kids with autism. So this only works when you're in Youngstown, Ohio. And when your older sisters volunteer at a marketing conference. So I absolutely love this promotion that they did for Straight Outta Compton. So I stole this. I grew up in Youngstown, Ohio. Grew up in Lowville. Started my first company at about 12, 13 years old. I was out hustling, cutting grass in the neighborhood. From there, when I left Lowville, I ventured out into the big world. Went to college in Canton, Ohio. From there, playing and coaching college basketball, I got a job as a school teacher. Somebody told me that in the course of the time I was working on my master's degree that you have to be prepared in college coaching to move around from city to city. And to me, that kind of sounded like a pretty crazy idea. It didn't necessarily look like the life I wanted to live. So after I got my master's degree in education administration, I jumped into the private sector, into healthcare sales and marketing. Grew up in the medical services industry. And ironically enough, I went from Canton to Cleveland to New York City to Columbus. And then 3 years ago, I decided to move back to Youngstown, Ohio. So much for moving around and staying put in one spot. It was when I moved to Columbus, Ohio, that I kind of ventured into a place where really no person was going before. I decided to partner with a group of venture capitalists on a business. And when I partnered with that group of venture capitalists, we really underfunded the marketing and advertising launch of that company. So if you ever really want to lose a lot of sleep at night, I highly recommend that you go and launch a new product, service, or business, and make sure that it's very well underfunded. That will keep you up at night. So that's around 2007 when everything in the world today was starting to turn towards, it was early adoption. A company called HubSpot had come out with their inbound marketing methodology, and our keynote speaker, Joe Polizzi, started to blog about content marketing. And I really started to gravitate towards it because in the medical services businesses, the way that you get business is you go door to door, one-on-one relationships, and every time you walk in that door, you reinvent yourself and have another conversation. And every time you go there, you can't be asking people to buy. So if you look at the current methodology in online marketing, that sounds very similar. So that made a lot of sense to me to transition to something that was scalable. So we launched the website. And then we launched the content strategy comprising of a blog and a YouTube video that, as of like last week, it's got 51,000 views, which it hasn't been marketed in quite some time, and apparently people are still watching that video. However, as we were disseminating this information across social media, healthcare is a blue blood industry. What I mean by that, healthcare, financial, insurance, it's very glacial moving paces because of what they're dealing with, very serious matter. They're very slow to adopt new technologies. So as national trade publications started to pick up on the conversation, they were saying, do you really want your medical services business in the same spot that college kids are posting themselves at cake parties? And of course that was me, like, yes. We've made it, we're totally disruptive, people are paying attention to it in a good way. I really liked online marketing because the closed loop analytics showed that we were getting 10 to 20% of our patients per month online. Traditional advertising to me was a challenge because the people at Clear Channel, and no offense to the people at Clear Channel, but the billboard industry and the expense and the cost, we just didn't have it. They were able to tell me how many people were driving up and down the street at a certain time of the day and how fast they were going and the color of their eyes, but they couldn't talk to me anything about how I convert those individuals. So that's why online marketing made sense to me. And again, if you've had the opportunity to get your hands on a copy of Content Inc., you do now. It's being provided to you by Mahoney County Career and Technical Center. They are your book sponsor. So Joe Polizzi wrote Content Inc. And in that book, one of the things that really stood out to me is that a lot of people approach content marketing and kind of give up too soon. In my process, in the work that I was doing, General Electric, GE Healthcare is a multi-billion-dollar industry or business, and they're a radiology IT business. So if you're looking at medical images on a smart device or a phone, that's generally the software that I was responsible for bringing to market. So the executives of GE Healthcare saw the work that I was doing from a content strategy online, which then the recruitment process began to come there to help develop their radiology IT portfolio from a marketing perspective and help them with their online content marketing strategy. The problem with that in corporate America is that when I got to GE Healthcare, the regulatory and legal division was very uncomfortable with online marketing practices. So now I'm here, I made a change to a big corporation to launch their content marketing strategy, and we can't play online. A little bit of a disconnect. So we launched the webinar strategy. I was responsible for a $1 billion healthcare IT portfolio, all the lead demand generation. So that helped me to then get to the point where I am today. 3 years of that, brought my third kid home from the hospital, was nominated to go off to GE's Crotonville's executive level training program which Jack Welch had created. Instead, I fired my boss at GE Healthcare, third child's at home. My wife's looking at me like this is absolute insanity, so God bless her for putting up with me. And we launched a marketing services company, and I have, as Martin said, have worked with some Fortune 500 companies, a number of local entities as well. So why does this work and how does this work? So as I said, I played college basketball, and each year that, each season, I was on a bus probably 20 times a year and 10 hours a road trip. And I kind of made a promise to myself that I would never step foot on another Greyhound bus. But I go to the Mayo Clinic Social Media Healthcare Summit in Rochester, Minnesota. It's a wonderful facility, obviously world-class medicine. 300 people sitting in the basement of the Marriott in Rochester, healthcare professionals learning about social media marketing. And I thought to myself, wow, that's funny. 300 people travel to Rochester, Minnesota. It's not easy to get here. And now I'm on a bus because my flight's delayed, and they're busing me up through a beautiful ride through the Minnesota countryside to Minneapolis, and I poured myself into bed at 2 in the morning. So that, to me, was enough pain to be in to then go and start to utilize some of this marketing skill set that I have. And when I looked on LinkedIn, there's almost 300,000 people within a 75-mile radius of Youngstown, Ohio. So I started thinking to myself, we've got critical mass. And then I stopped in Jim Coster's office, where my office is down at the Youngstown Business Incubator, and I said, hey Jim, what do you think about this? And Jim's thing is, ideas are great, but execution's where it's at. So I had to put my money where my mouth is, and called R.J. Thompson up in December. He was with Youngstown Design Work, and I said, I need a website. And he asked me when, and I said, yesterday. So we launched DOYO Live as a result of that. Critical mass, world-class facilities at Youngstown State University's Women's College of Business. We have a burgeoning tech community here, capital of 3D, one of the capitals of 3D printing in the United States, and a very convenient place to get to. So that all added up. So then the other reason why this adds up is because of the fact that I hear people all the time that want to go back to the way that the world used to be, when we didn't stare at concerts through our smart devices, and that it's painful that when I got to come home at the end of the day, that I got to get on Twitter and I got to talk to people. And I'm saying to myself, why do you wait till the end of the day? Should maybe be a part of the day. So that is disturbing as that is, that's the world that we live in. People have, on average, checked their smart devices 40, 30, 45 times a day, depending on what month it is. And people have their smart device within their reach 24/7. The other funny thing is that we think that we've always been this, let's sit around the campfire, hug, hold hands, and be a kumbaya nation, right? Like we're having these intellectual conversations. But the fact of the matter is we've always been somewhat isolated. The medium has just changed. We shifted our eyeballs from the TV to the newspaper, our ears to the radio, and now to our smart devices just because it comes at us a lot quicker. And that's the part about marketing and where we're at today. Is that the velocity of what things are changing at from a marketing professional, we still need to know whether you're B2B or B2C. If all of those things that you learned in college about the buyer's journey and buyer personas and all the traditional stuff, but now the marketing technology industry is a $50 billion industry according to VentureBeat. This list last year, in 2014, we had 900 companies on it. Now it's got 1,800 on this slide right here. I mean, just think about it. We set up a conference for you to come to go to workshops. We've got two very talented people working those workshops for Instagram. Instagram changed like, what, 24 hours ago, 48 hours ago? That's how quickly this world is evolving. So there's more pressures on marketing executives in general to be able to deliver with content management systems, CRM solutions, marketing automation, social media listening, social media monitoring, and it's very challenging to stay up on it. You know, I consider myself a nerd at heart. I have an office in the Youngstown Business Incubator, and we're always walking around. There's always talking to people about coding and algorithms. Raise your hand if you're in the room today and you're in social media marketing and you've dropped an algorithm in a conversation in the past month. Anyone? Yeah, don't be shy. Okay. We all sound smart. It's like a four-syllable word, and it's really funny that that's become the nomenclature in the marketing world. That's what we're all talking about all of a sudden. It's not just the coders. It's funny how we all become mathematic experts. Here's what I like to tell people. when I sit down with them and I tell them about the reach on Facebook is no longer is what it once was, because Facebook and Instagram and Twitter are all kind of have a conspiracy, evil empire theory, and there's a bunch of minions working for one of them, and the trolls in the other, and they're all hitting the buttons in the back room, and they're all saying to themselves, yeah, let's not show them this and let's show them that. So, you know, the fact of the matter is that 80 to 90% of all buying decisions start with online search. That's why this works today. It doesn't matter if you're buying a TV, a car, you need a cheeseburger for lunch, or if you're in an enterprise and you're buying a CRM solution to solve your business needs. You generally start that with Google search. The secondary thing to that is that 60 to 70% of the buyer's journey has already begun, and they've already vetted your sales process before they ever even pick up the phone to have a conversation with one of your sales executives. Buyers are more empowered now than they've ever been in the course of any history. Time because of the amount of information that's out there. And the fact of the matter is that if you don't have a strategy, which, you know, we have the best guy in the world here today, Joe Polizzi, to talk about content marketing, being compelling, being interesting, putting out thought leadership pieces so that people become engaged with your brand, and then ultimately the content helping to fuel an inbound marketing strategy where you get found, you establish the authority. We have a whole HubSpot track. For those of you that don't know what HubSpot is, very briefly, it's a marketing technology company that was on the forefront of this movement. They have a content management system. They've evolved into marketing automation, blogging, and even now they've recently launched a CRM solution. We have Nate Briggs in the afternoon that's going to give a keynote in that genre. We have Tony DeSantis from Buy 680 or Bing, an interactive communication tool that is also lives in that HubSpot world. And Gene Banano from the Banana Digital Group is a HubSpot shop. And also Gene is here giving his presentation today because his daughter, who was scheduled to be here to give her presentation, had a pretty good excuse. She had a baby yesterday. So if you get a chance to sit in Gene's presentation, make sure you give him a nice congratulations. Not only is the mechanism in which we have to develop the strategy, the mechanism in which we talk to people in is also changed. There's a theory, especially in retail, and the omni-channel environment, and that's people want to talk to you on their terms, and you got to interact with them on their terms. How many people get a text message from a friend, and you hit the dial button, and that person, you know they're on the phone, they just text you, and you go directly to voicemail. Does that happen to anybody in here? Do you do that to people in here? Absolutely. And then you get a text message like, "What's up? I just saw that you called." Can we just have handled this a little bit quicker with the phone call? I get it. And the barrier to entry to publishing has never been lower than it ever has been. I mean, at this point in time, if you've got the chutzpah to stay with it, and I told Joe and talking to him earlier that I'm just incredibly stubborn. That churning out blog content, I'm very proud of the fact that we launched DOYO Live. We were committed to the strategy philosophically, and churning out blog content 3 days a week for the past 7 months. That's not easy to do. It's very painful. But ultimately, again, out of that philosophy, we keep building it, keep building traction. Nowadays, you can be your own video publisher. I mean, at the end of the day, how many live streaming applications are out there? Every one of us have an opportunity to be able to integrate that in our marketing strategy. And a guy like Ross Marone, who's giving a breakout session on big data analytics to drive your digital marketing strategy, has a fantastic podcast. When before can anybody of us have a radio show without going down to a radio show and pitching them, and then sitting on the radio at midnight from 12 to 2 giving you a radio show? It doesn't happen. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to transition out and talk to you a little bit about the schedule, how your day is going to unfold, and get out of the way here. So first up, we have 2 world-class keynote speakers. They speak all over the world, literally. If you follow these guys on any of their social media feeds, if you follow Content Marketing Institute, Content Marketing World is run by Mr. Joe Polizzi, and I'm very honored and humbled that he's here today. I truly am. I likened this one the first time that somebody asked me about this. I said it's like holding a charity basketball game and Michael Jordan decides to show up to play. So I think it's pretty cool. Nate Briggs is going to speak in the afternoon. And then your schedule, we like to be schedule oriented, and we're going to try and move you through your day. This is our first go around. We appreciate your patience with any sort of, the logistics that we've got going on today. And what we're going to do is we're off and running. Joe's going to talk. We're going to go to networking break. Our morning is pretty action-packed. We're going to go to our first breakout sessions. You've got 5 sessions that you can choose from. They're going to be running simultaneously. We are going to try and get some equal dispensation across those breakout sessions. So we're going to try and get 30 to 40 people minimum. Breakout session leaders have prepared very diligently for this. If you're something that you're dying to see and we have to put you on standby, we will do the best that we can to get you into that session. After that first breakout session, we're going to run back down here. We're going to have our thought leadership panel. You can register questions by hashtagging your questions on Twitter, on Instagram, on Snapchat. We have people going around. We're trying to capture your question. Please register your question for our thought leadership panels. And then we're going to go to lunch in the afternoon. We're going to come back to our schedule. It's a little bit more relaxed. Again, at session number 2, you've got 6 breakout sessions. All the breakout sessions are on the south end of the building, except at there's a session number 6 with Mark Denowitz from WKBN, the VP of Sales. He's been around in the online world for a really long time. He's got a ton of experience. His room is going to be down at 11:12, and it's in your program. So in your book, DOYO Live magazine, put together by Mike Ponticus. He did a fantastic job laying that out. Midway through, you've got your schedule. Go ahead and take a look at that. Mark Denowitz is on track 6. That's in the different ends of the building. And then we go to networking break, afternoon keynote, closing remarks, and then we've got an after party down at the Erie Terminal building, and a lot of fun. Thought leadership panel, a great group of individuals, probably potentially a surprise guest along the way. We've got Rob Palowitz from Palo Creative, Jeff Risner from 898 Marketing. Very fortunate to have Jeff here today. Jim Yang wins our long distance award. He came in from California. We have people in from Toronto, Canada, and North Carolina. So we've actually managed to take, I guess, DOYO international. Canada counts. Steve Conte is here from Accountable Marketing, and Lisa Kleinhendler out of Hudson Fasteners. Very interesting business model. Very traditional, nuts and bolts, literally taking their business to online, to content marketing, and being an authoritarian in that space. You'll enjoy that. So we will not be building bears during our workshops, but we do have some pretty awesome workshops lined up for you. So if you want to just break out, we've got 16 hours of content going on. If there's something that is like you're dying to talk about, we have we have a blog workshop. We've got branding and design with RJ Thompson, Mike Ponticos. Jamie Johnson from Mellow Wings, Instagram. We've got a Snapchat. We've got Facebook. Good. Let's jump into the sponsors real quick because this is really, really important. You don't do these things without having great people support you, not only from a volunteer perspective, we'll get to that in a moment, but also from a sponsorship perspective. Guy by the name of Lewis Lee was in a class that I teach here at Youngstown State University and introduced me to the CEO of the Youngstown Warren Regional Chamber, Mr. Tom Humphreys. Tom graciously listened to me for 20 minutes talk about how great digital marketing is and how this city needed an event and what we were going to do and how we were going to build it. And we had a very interesting conversation about billboard advertising and digital marketing. And then he said, I will do whatever I can to help you out with your event. And I was like very gracious about it. And so that was pretty cool. And then Kim Coward, VP of Marketing and Events for the Regional Chamber, joined our committee. And raise your hand if you're with the Youngstown Warren Regional Chamber. Not with them, like if you work with them, but if you're a member. Thank you. Ton of resources for you. They are here today. It's an outstanding organization. Wholeheartedly, this does not happen without the support of them and what they've done for us. Mahoney County Career and Technical Center is a fantastic resource that we have here in Mahoney County. Not only they're preparing kids to be job ready, the School of Cosmetology has a $20,000 licensure in the real world, and you can come out of high school job ready. The welding program, you can graduate as a certified welder making $30 an hour. If this does not work out for me, I will see if I can go back to high school. That'd be a big deal. You can also come out college ready as well. That's the big misconception. Kids are coming out with college credit and coming to Youngstown State University. Friends Specialty has been with me for a very long time. Very good friends with Mitch and Patricia. I'm so glad to have them involved. They're catering the event later this afternoon. And our host facility, Youngstown Williamson College of Business. I'm a bit of a diva when it comes to giving presentations, where I teach classes here. So when Adam Earnhardt said, I'd love for you to teach in our School of Communications, my only prerequisite, not even pay, was I want to be in the Williamson College of Business to teach. So they make that happen for me, and I love being here, and I love the fact that not only Dean Licata gave this to us, but Chris Shout, who is here, Facilities and Events Coordinator Management, and has done just a wonderful job, her and her team. We've got NYO Property Group. They've been invested in Youngstown before, into the real estate and developing and bringing old buildings back to life before it was cool to be here. And they made it cool for downtown to be inhabitable. And not only did they take the risk to invest in our downtown, if you look at the events that go on in downtown, they put their name on everything. And they made it cool now for other companies to come in and make it a little bit more of a competitive environment. But I'm very appreciative about the fact that they're here and that they're doing that for us. The City of Youngstown, Sharon Woodbury, Economic Development Office, Michael McGiffin, the Events and Marketing Coordinator, supporting this event. We've delivered 900,000 impressions since we launched our website back in January. 90% of that marketing has always included that DOYO Live will be in Youngstown, Ohio. Michael was out bagging the meters for parking, anything that we needed, and so appreciative of the fact that they've done that. I had the mayor actually call me on the phone, and it's always an interesting, awkward conversation when the mayor calls me, because I want to call him John because I know him as John, but then it's like, should I be calling him Mayor? This is my whole like Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm moment. Jim Kostler, my sage man, down at the Youngstown Business Incubator, thanks for them. One Hot Cookie, anytime that they're showing up and putting their name on anything, everybody just gets happy about cookies. Youngstown Design Works, making our websites, our logos. RJ Thompson, thank you for that. The Ohio Small Business Development Corporation, they are here. They're helping small businesses succeed. And last but not least, our title agency sponsor, Rob Howitz from Palo Creative. Rob always has returned my calls and emails through the years, but when I ran into him in the parking lot in Boardman, Ohio, I jumped in front of his SUV. He may have kept going, but I had my 2 kids with me, so he stopped. And I was like, hey, we're going to do this thing called DOYO. And I said, I really would love to have you there, and that precipitated into a few meetings. We'll jump back into Rob and his crew in a second. This event doesn't happen without great people supporting you as well. I have a fantastic group of volunteers that will make sure that we all recognize before the end of the day. And our committee made up of Adam Earnhardt, Mike Montigas, Joanna Schiraldi, Megan Factor, Anthony Marchionda, DeAndre Reisner, RJ Thompson, O'Keel Gist, and if I left anybody out, Stephanie Miranda, I apologize. Lunch today is being provided by our title agency sponsor, Rob Howitz. Rob has literally brought, thank you. Rob has literally brought his entire crew here today. So if you want 2 martinis, a couple steaks out of B2. No, we follow them on Twitter and on Instagram at Palo Creative. If you've not picked up your lunch ticket yet, you need to stop by their booth. They have your lunch badge. They will give that to you. And they also are giving away a fantastic trip. I'm hoping it's round trip from Chicago and back, because they launched the Youngstown Warren Regional Chamber, or Youngstown Airport trip back and forth to airport trip back and forth to Chicago. So very appreciative to have them involved in Rob and his crew. And Jim Kumar is doing a session on SEO in a breakout session. Lunch is at B2 in downtown Youngstown, so we're going to walk out the south end of the building for lunch. Going to grab. We've got a fixed menu for you. You have some options. We do have gluten-free options, and we have vegan gluten-free options as well. So we have you pretty much taken care of. The after party, and I'm going to bring up our keynote speaker. Get out of your way. Thank you for listening for the past half hour here. Our after party. You are all welcome to come down and have a drink on us, have a good time, network. There's light fare there. It's going to be in the Erie Terminal Building, which is an NYO property, in their M Gallery, which, as you'll see, is a fantastic room and a very exciting place. So, with no further ado, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today. Thank you for being here today. I wholeheartedly appreciate it.